Today's playthrough is all about having a plan, but knowing when to jump on a good opportunity when it shows up. I'm Mike with Expedition Gaming, and this is Nippon Zaibatsu.
Hello everyone and welcome to Japan. This game has an expansion that is heading to crowdfunding, and I thought it would be fun to do a playthrough of the base game to give you a sense of what this game is all about in prep for the expansion that's coming out. So what is this game all about? Well, at a very high level, we are going to spend our time building these factories here, and then we'll run those factories to produce goods. Then we'll deliver those goods across Japan. Delivering those goods will help us establish influence in each of the regions. Both the type of goods that you deliver and the amount of those goods will dictate how much influence you have. So we are trying to really establish influence across the regions here, which we will then score at 3 different times throughout the game. So the points you earn in this game are going to come from the influence you have out here. They'll also come from how well we have developed our Zaibatsus here, our player boards. And there are multiple categories you can score. This is one of those games where just about everything you do has a way of earning you points, and you'll get to decide the categories that will score you the most points as you progress through the game. But again, that core loop is building factories, producing goods, and delivering those goods throughout the regions. There's definitely a lot to look at across all of these boards here. And I think rather than explain everything in detail up front, let's just jump right into gameplay and I can show you what it feels like to play the game. We'll learn it as we go, and we will cover each of the various elements as we come across them. We are all set up for a 2-player game. We will be the purple player here up against Yeti, who is the orange player. Now, our starting setups are slightly different from each other, and that is based off of these sets of tiles right here. And don't worry too much about what these tiles mean just yet. We'll cover those details when they become relevant. I mainly just wanted to point out that our starting scenarios are different from each other based on these sets of tiles. And during setup, each player will draft the set of tiles that they would like, which dictates our starting scenarios and the resources that we begin with. So we can clear these things out of the way. Now, the last thing I want to mention before we jump into gameplay is how long the game will last. And that is tracked right here. When this marker reaches the last space here, that will trigger the end of the game. And how quickly this marker moves forward will depend on how quickly we empty out these various worker pools that are up there. So you'll see that kind of in motion as we go, but just know that the pace of the game and how quickly we get to the end of it will depend on how much we hammer specific actions up there. Okay, with all of that said, let's jump into gameplay. We'll be starting us out, and remember, the main thing we want to do is deliver goods to the various regions. Well, if you want to deliver goods, you gotta have them, and if you want to have goods, you gotta make them. So I think the very first thing we want to do is build a factory. Now let's take a closer look at this part of the board up here. These are all of the actions that you can take in the game. You'll notice that they are arranged in these columns here. And if you want to take an action, you have to first take a worker from that column. So in our case, we want to build a factory, which is this action right here. It'll cost us 6 of our money, and then we can build it, but we have to take a worker from this column. Now, the color of worker that you choose will have 0 effect on the action that you're taking right now. The color will come into play later when we have to pay wages and get some bonuses from those workers, but we'll see the details of that later. It happens during a different type of turn. But for right now, when taking an action, the color doesn't have any effect. And so with those things in mind, we're going to grab this gray worker, and then you add that worker into your player board right here. Now, you can only take an action if you have space to bring in that worker. So in this case, we're early on and we've got no problem there. But you'll notice we did start with this, it's called an expert worker. That's because we were able to put that ship out during setup. And again, I'll explain the details of that in further detail here in a little bit. But for right now, all we do is stick that guy right there, and then we can finish taking our action. So again, that's going to cost us 6 of our money, or technically it's 6,000 yen. With that paid, now we can choose one of these factories that are out here. And the first thing that we need to pay attention to are the numbers up here with that red book. This is the level of R&D we need to be at in order to build one of these factories. So if we wanted to build one of these factories, our R&D needs to be at level 2. These ones require R&D of level 4, and the top ones here are level 6. Now we begin the game at level 1. So we're one level shy of being able to build any factory. But that's where our silk comes into play. When you're taking this action, you can spend silk to temporarily boost your R&D level. So you can spend 1 silk to increase your R&D by 1 level temporarily. You can spend 3 silk if you want to boost up your R&D by 2 levels. And if you spend 6 silk, then you can boost your R&D up by 3. In this case, we just need to go from level 1 to 2. So we can spend a single silk to temporarily boost our R&D level up to 2. So with our R&D at level 2, we can choose any of these 4. The top 2 factories will produce paper. The bottom 2 factories will produce cotton. And I think we want to go with this one right here. So it's a paper factory, and it gets slotted into the leftmost available space there. Now, some factories will give you an instant benefit the moment that you build it. The factory that we chose, though, is going to augment one of the actions that's out there and make it a little bit better for us when we take it. Specifically, it's whenever we fulfill any of these contracts here, it'll let us increase our finance track as well for every contract that we complete. So that'll be helpful in the long run for us, I think. But now we have the ability to manufacture paper, and so that's something we're going to have our sights set on here sooner rather than later. And the rest of the details here we'll explain as we come across them. But that's it for our turn. We've claimed the worker, we've done the action. Now play will pass over to Yeti. For Yeti's first turn, he's going to put out his own ship. We began the game with a ship deployed. He's going to take the action that will let him put a ship out. So he's going to take this worker here, and when you put a ship out, you can pay for it in one of 2 ways. You can either do 3 iron or 5 money and 1 iron. And he's going to go with the 5 money and 1 iron. So he'll pay the 5,000 there, and now he can deploy his ships. That's these guys right there. And when you take a ship, you take from the leftmost, which will be that one, and you send it out to the Iwakura mission here. You can choose any location as long as there is an expert worker still available to take. So for example, our ship was deployed here, which took away that expert worker. Yeti could not place right there. It's not available for him yet. This will come back once we consolidate and do that action I was talking about. But for right now, it's not available. So instead, he's going to place it down right here. That will give him this expert worker, but also give him this bonus tile right there. This expert worker gets slotted in right there. And then this bonus tile will now cover up that benefit and actually make it better. We'll talk about the details of these and how you get these here in a little bit, but he has just made that benefit a little bit better when he gets to claim it. Now the next thing is he gets this benefit right here. Because both of these pieces have been removed from the board, he gets to activate that, which will increase his finance track. And this is the amount of money that you'll gain when you do one of those consolidate actions. With Yeti's turn done, play comes back to us. And I think for our next action, we want to increase our coal production. So for this one, let's grab this blue worker. And when you take this action, you do it one time. You might notice some of these have multiple activations, like when Yeti put that boat out, he could have done that 3 different times. You have to pay the cost each individual time you activate it, but you could do that up to 3 times. For this one here, you can only do it once. 1,000 yen will let us increase our coal production track by 1. 3 will let us go up by 2. 6 will let us go up by 3. We're going to do the middle one there. Let's pay 3 money, which is the last of what we have on hand. He will go down there, and then we will increase our coal production track by 2.
Hey everyone, it's Mike in the editing booth, and I need to interrupt gameplay for just a second to address a color/production problem. The way the video turned out, it is extremely difficult to see the money, and it's just about impossible to see the coal. Like this shot, for example. Believe it or not, there's 2 coal sitting there in our supply, but the lighting and the color, for some reason, make it very difficult to see. I don't know why. It did not look like that during filming, but it's just how it turned out. So I apologize. It's difficult to make out money and coal throughout the playthrough. This is the only time I'll mention it, but I just wanted to apologize that it is tough to see throughout the video. Anyway, back to gameplay.
And with that done, back over to Yeti. And he's going to build himself a factory. So he'll take this worker, and it will cost him 6 money. He's in the same boat where his R&D is at level 1, so he'll need to spend this silk to temporarily boost that. And then he's going to grab this cotton factory right here. Now his starting scenario had an upgrade ready to go. So the moment he builds this first factory, it will come in an upgraded state. Now when he produces on this factory, it'll produce 1 additional good. On top of that, this factory gives him an ongoing benefit. Whenever he takes the upgrade action in the future, he'll get to increase his R&D track by 2. And coming back over to us, we have this factory here, but we have no goods. So let's fire this factory up and produce. That's going to be this action right here. This is another one that can be activated 3 times. And when you do this, you can activate 3 different factories to produce goods in. But to do that, let's grab this gray worker here. We're going to activate this factory here, and it costs coal to be able to produce goods. The amount of coal is listed right there. This is going to take 2 coal to activate that factory. And then, in its non-upgraded state, factory will produce a single good. So you put 1 crate down there to indicate this factory has 1 good available to it. There's a couple things we can do with these goods. Obviously, one of the main things we're trying to do is deliver them out into the regions. So now we have a single good that we could place out or deliver out to one of these regions. The other thing that you can use goods for is completing contracts, and we'll see that in detail here in a little bit. Back over to Yeti, and he's going to take the same type of action. He's going to produce as well, so he'll take this blue worker, and same coal cost, it's going to take 2 coal. Now when he produces, because it is upgraded, instead of a single good, he will produce 2 of those goods. And with that, play passes back over to us. And now that we have this good here, we're going to take this action right here. This is investments or contracts. And we'll grab this guy here, and you can activate this up to 3 times. But every time you activate it, it has an increasing cost in goods. One activation will take 1 good. To activate it a second time, it's going to take 2 goods, but those goods need to be different than the type of goods that you used for the first activation, and so on. So for this one, we're just going to activate it 1 time, which will cost us the 1 good that we just produced. But then we can complete any one of these contracts. And we're going to go with this one here. Now, each one of these contracts, when you fulfill it, is slotted in right there, and you'll gain the corresponding department bonus. In this case, that's the bonus right there. We will gain 5 yen back. So each one of these, when you complete it, you'll gain its corresponding department bonus. These bottom contracts here, you gain any bonus that you want, but the stipulation is the goods spent to complete these contracts need to be some of the higher end goods. Goods from a level 4 factory or goods from a level 6 factory. We're all done here, so play will go back over to Yeti. He's still got room to take on a couple more workers, so he's going to use those freshly minted goods to take the local markets action. This is the action you take in order to deliver the goods to the regions out here. So he's going to grab this blue worker. And now he has 2 cotton goods. It's going to cost him both. And these markers here are your influence markers. And like I said before, the type of goods that you send out and the number of goods that you send out will dictate how much influence you get to have in the region that you're delivering to. So let's take a peek back up here. And this chart right here is how you can determine which influence token you're allowed to put out. You have 3 levels of goods, which correspond to the 3 levels of factories. He has a cotton factory, and so he's got cotton goods. He's delivering 2 of them. So for his cotton at a level 2, or putting 2 of them out, he will get his number 2 influence token placed out. So he can grab this one right here. And now when you're placing out, you can choose any of the 4 regions to place into. And you might notice that you can take this action up to 3 times, which means you could potentially put out 3 of these influence tokens in one swoop, but all of them need to take place inside a single region. So in this case, he's delivering cotton, and when we look a little closer at the regions here, this is the region he's going to deliver into. And you have these tiles which are randomly placed out during setup, randomly oriented in setup. If he wants to deliver to this region, he can bring cotton to here or to here. And he's going to choose right here. Now, these pre-printed numbers, these come into play in any games that have less than 4 players. This is considered sort of an offshore company that's competing for influence in this region. So by placing out over here, he's able to cover up this offshore influence. The number that he has does not need to beat that number. So when covering up pre-printed numbers, you can ignore the value that's there as far as, what number you're placing out. Now, this is a big help for him because he's covering up a 3, which means he just reduced the offshore company's influence by 3 in this region here. So now he has 2 influence in this region. In addition, by placing influence down in here, he'll gain the region bonus, which is going to give him 2 iron. So that is the local markets action. You will choose some of your goods, and then you will service a local market, or rather a single region up to 3 times. They can be different types of goods, but it's all limited into a single region. That will take care of his action. Back to us, and we have room for just one more worker, which means we can take another action. Now it's important to note, you can do that consolidate action we've been hinting at. You can do that at any time as long as you have at least one worker. You probably don't want to do that, and you'll see why here in a moment, but as long as you have space, you can continue to take actions and bring in new workers. But if we're ever out of space, then you don't have a choice and you have to consolidate. So in this case, we have space, and we're going to use the 5,000 yen we just got to do the upgrade action. It will cost that 5,000. We're going to take this gray worker, and then we can take the leftmost upgrade token and add it to a factory of our choice. And of course, we don't have a choice. It's going to go right there. Just like Yeti, because we have removed both of these pieces here, we'll get to increase our finance track by 1. Now this factory can take another upgrade, but in order to do that one, it'll also cost 1 additional iron. Coming back to Yeti, he has a free space, so he could take an action if he wanted, but an interesting little note, he could not do the ship's action here. He's actually sitting on 3 iron. He could afford it. That part's fine. But he only has 1 open space. And whenever you take the ship's action, as always, you have to take the worker from the column there, but then you also need enough room to accommodate that expert worker, just like we saw earlier. So he doesn't have enough room for 2 workers, so he can't take the ship's action. And despite the fact that he does have room for 1 more worker, he's actually going to take the first consolidation action of the game. This is the action that will clear off the workers that are in here. You'll pay some wages and gain some bonuses or benefits depending on who you have lined up here. So the very first thing that you do is you see if you can grab one of these favor tokens. And these tokens are what's going to unlock endgame scoring. So because his worker has reached this level, he could take this favor token, and he will. You could always take a lower one if you want, but these ones here, the higher up favor tokens, are going to qualify you for better, higher scoring. And for this one, he's going to lock it into the R&D track right there. So now at the end of the game, you'll notice these faint little lines here. If he can move his R&D up to level 3, then he will score some points. You can see at the top there's a 5, an 8, and a 10. By going with the middle token, he'll get the middle number. So if he can get this marker up to the third space, or this space right here, he'll gain 8 points. If he had instead used the top level favor token, then this would qualify him for 10 points. Getting over to this line here will qualify you for those points. So these favor tokens, again, they're how you'll customize the what things are worth on your board at the end of the game. So that's step 1. You grab your favor token. Step 2 is you discard all of your money and your coal. So this is one of the reasons why you want to be very efficient and thoughtful with money and coal that are on hand, because during this step, you will get rid of everything that you have. Iron and silk, you get to hang on to. Money and coal, go bye-bye. Next up is we gain department bonuses based on the color of the first worker and the last worker that you have in your queue. This first worker will activate this department bonus right here. He gets 2 bumps between the R&D and the coal production track. You can take it all on one track or split it up. He's going to do 2 bumps on the coal production track. So that's the department bonus for him. Then we look at the last worker, and this worker here will give him 3 money. Now, the order that this happens is interesting. If the top color worker matches the bottom color worker, you do not gain that department bonus twice. So you want to be thoughtful about the order that you bring these in. Because that's a different colored worker, he got 2 different department bonuses. Then you carry on with income, and you'll gain coal and money based on where you're at on this track. So he'll gain 3 coal, and he'll gain 13 money. Then, after department bonuses and income, now you have to pay salary to all of your workers. And this is where one of the main considerations comes in for the color of workers that we've been choosing for all of our actions. Because for each color, you pay 3,000 yen. So in this case, he only has 2 different colors in his worker pool, so he's going to pay 6,000. So ideally, you're trying to have as few color workers as possible, but you're also being considerate of the department bonuses, and sometimes you don't have a choice. The actions that you want to take might not have, a matching color. So these are all little considerations that go into which worker you're grabbing. Now, payment is mandatory for these workers. However, you're never allowed to spend your very last 1,000 yen. So you keep that in mind. And then for every 1 money that you cannot afford, you'll lose 1 victory point. So you want to make sure you have planned this out carefully, and ideally with enough money left over for the next round to be able to take some good actions. And then the very last part of a consolidation is you'll remove all of these workers, and any expert workers will go back to where they belong. And then the workers that have come off of your board will go back into this bag here, and then this bag will eventually be used to replenish our worker pools, which we'll see here in a little bit. But now it comes back to us. And we must consolidate because we are entirely out of room. So we have reached the top here. So we have access to the best favor token. We'll grab that. This is always one of the hardest decisions, I think, because you want to do all of these things. So what do you lock in as your top scorer? So they're all tough choices, but let's go with this one here. We're already making good progress. We know we want to push up on the finance track because money can be tight, and so you want to increase that. Seems like good incentive. So we'll lock it in there. Then we'll get our department bonuses. We began with this expert worker. Again, that was due to our setup tile, which let us put out a ship. We chose this knowing that it would increase that department bonus and that we would start with a blue worker in that position. So all of that was straight from setup. So now we'll get 5,000 for that one. And then this gray worker will give us 2 iron. And then we will gain 3 coal. And we're sitting on 15. It's a mess. And then we have 2 different colors of workers, so we will owe 6,000 for that. And then we clear everybody off. With our consolidation done, play will pass back over to Yeti. And he is going to grab this worker here and increase his R&D by 2 for 3 money. With him being at a level 2 now, he can build factories at a level 2 without having to spend silk. Now you'll notice, by taking that action, this worker area just emptied out. Whenever that happens, you look at the worker queue over here, and you will bring in the next set of workers to fill in that work area. If there are no more workers left in the queue here to fill in one of these areas, that's what will trigger advancing this track right here. So again, this is the thing that drives the pace of the game, and how much we hammer individual actions will empty these queues out even faster, driving this up or slowing it down, just depending on how we take our actions. Back over to us, and I am just now realizing that when we completed this contract, we did not set off the benefit of this building, which would let us increase on our finance track once for every contract fulfilled. So sorry about that. That should have been there already during that income. So we should have received an additional 1,000 yen there. All right, we are all out of goods, and we definitely want to get some goods delivered. So I think for our first action, we'll grab this guy here and do production. It's going to cost us our 2 coal, and our upgraded factory will give us 2 goods. Back over to Yeti, and he's going to grab this worker here to build a factory. It's going to cost him 6 money, and he's going to go with his own paper factory, which will get him 3 money back. And then he can increase his finance track by 1. And by emptying the that worker space there, these will fill in. Now the next time one of these empties out, that's going to trigger the end of the round because there'll be nothing to refill it. I think for our next action, we're also going to build a factory. So that'll cost us 6,000. We will grab this one right here. And of course, we're going to need to spend this silk to get us up to level 2. But then that'll get us 3 silk right back for the instant benefit. Back over to Yeti, and he is going to grab this worker to increase his R&D. And he's going to spend 3, which will give him 2 bumps on his R&D. By crossing over this space right here, he's going to get to take the department bonus that will get him some coal. So that'll gain him 2 coal and bring him up into the level 3 zone for his R&D. Now, coming back to us, we're getting kind of close to triggering some end of the round type stuff, and sooner rather than later, we're going to be scoring influence in these areas. So I definitely want to try to get some stuff out. With that in mind, we'll grab this guy here. And we're going to spend both of these goods to put out a level 2, because just like Yeti, it's the same formula for these goods that come out of this level of a factory. We're spending 2 of them to put out our level 2 influence token. And I kind of want to put it over here for money, but we really could use coal as well. So we're going to place that down right there, and we'll gain 2 coal. Then that coal will let us fire up these factories here again. Ideally, we can do that to get some more influence out onto the board before we start scoring for it. Play passes back over to Yeti, and he's going to take the last worker from here to send out a ship, and he's going to pay for that with iron. So he has the 3 iron, and he's going to send that right there, which will give him that expert worker and this department bonus upgrade, which will slot in right there, and he'll be able to get a little more coal when he takes that one. And he has emptied out this worker area, And of course, there are none left. So this will trigger the end of the round. So we slide this forward 1 space. When the end of the round is triggered this next time, because it's right here at this threshold, the first thing that we'll do is score the majorities. But since it was not there, it just simply advances forward 1 space. Then we'll take the bag here and we will refill each of these areas until they are filled up with 3 workers. And then the worker queue also gets refilled. And then that's it for end of round stuff. Play passes to the next player. And with it coming back to us and this being refilled, I think we're going to build or send out a ship ourselves. And we'll need to pay for that with a mixture of coin and iron. And then we'll send him to right there. That will slot in there and upgrade that for us. Back over to Yeti. He's going to grab this worker right here, and he's going to run some production. And again, he can activate up to 3 different factories. So each of these factories will take 2 coal. So for his 4 coal here, he will gain 2 goods into this factory here, 1 good into his paper factory, and then it's back to us. I don't like that our R&D is sitting so low. We want to be able to get some better factories out here, so we really need to boost that up. But we're only going to get 1 more turn before we have to consolidate, which means one way or another, we're going to be losing one of these resources. And I really would like to get more deliveries out there before we start scoring majorities. So let's prioritize getting some goods over increasing on this track. We can do that in a little bit. So I think with that, we'll grab this one here and we will run production. Now we're only going to get to activate 1 of our factories because we've only got 3 coal and it would take 4 to do both of them. So we'll just activate 1 and we'll get a little more bang for our buck with our paper factory. So we'll go with that. I'm also thinking I'd like to deliver out to this area for the money bonus, and it can take paper or cotton, so we're good there. And with that, play will pass back to Yeti, who is out of room, so he's going to consolidate. First thing he'll do is grab this top level favor token, and he's going to slot it into his upgrades row here. Then he must discard all of his extra money and coal. Then he'll gain his department bonuses for his workers. And he's got the red one here, so that'll get him 2 silk. And this black one here will get him 3 coal. He'll get an additional 3 coal for his income track there. 14 yen. Of course, though, for salaries, he has 3 different colored workers, so that's going to be 9,000 yen. So he'll bring in a total of 5. And then he can clear everybody out. Back to us, and we must also consolidate. So we'll grab this favor token. And maybe for this one, we'll lock it into the contracts here. So we're really kind of leaning heavily sort of into this ability here. Every time that we'll complete a contract, we'll increase on that track. So maybe between those two, we'll get some decent scoring, and that's definitely something we're now going to be looking to do throughout the game. Now we have to discard, unfortunately, our money and our coal, but we will gain this department bonus here, which will give us 2 bumps between these tracks. Let's go ahead and jump both of them up to, well, let's see. This would be great to get us into the next level of R&D, but we could take 2 bumps into here, and we're just about to get that coal, and 4 coal would be enough to fire up both of our factories. Let's do it. Okay, and by crossing this threshold, we will gain 2 iron. This department bonus will give us 2 silk. Might be tapping into that to increase our R&D. So now we'll get our 4 coal. And then we're at 16 on our finance track, minus 6 for the 2 different colored workers. So we'll bring in 10 for our money. Then of course these will go back. Over to Yeti, and he's going to serve the local markets. So now he can send out cotton or paper, and he wants to deliver into this region here. And this region will only take paper. So he'll send his single good over, and a single good of paper will send his number 1 influence token. And he'll cover that up right there. And that'll get him the region bonus of 2 silk. And again, that region doesn't take cotton, so he could not send this over. But even if he could, this would only let him send a level 2 influence token, and that is already committed out onto the board. So that'll wrap up his turn there. Okay, over to us. And let's do something about this guy sitting here at the bottom. So we'll grab this worker to do a little R&D, and let's spend the 6,000 yen to go up 3 spaces. And of course, by grabbing this worker, we will gain silk when we consolidate, which will help us augment that track as well. So with that, we will go. And this will let us gain our coal department bonus. And with that emptied out, we will refill it. Back over to Yeti, and he wants another factory. So he will grab that one. He'll spend 6,000. Now he's only sitting on 5,000. Another use for silk is that you can substitute 1 silk for 1,000 yen. So that will be his 6,000 right there. And he's going to go with this factory right here. He'll get an instant effect of being able to place a train out and increase his finance track by 1. And by pulling this train off, he will gain that benefit to increase his track again by 1. Now trains, when you place them out, go into these slots right here. And in a 2-player game, you can only use the top 3 spots. 2 more slots are added for 3 players, and then of course you use all of them in a 4-player game. And what trains do is increase the amount of influence that you have in a region. That's what this little +2 is. Every train you have in a region will give you 2 more influence in that region. However, there's one caveat. A train by itself will not provide any influence. Trains will only augment influence that you already have in a region. So by placing it in this region, first off, he'll gain 1 iron for covering that up. But this now has increased his influence here by 2. For example, if he had placed a train over here, it wouldn't do him any good because he does not have any influence tokens. But this will boost up how much influence he has right there. Coming back to us, before anything else happens, I'd like to get some more of our own influence out on the board. So for that, we have some paper we can place out, and let's grab this worker here. We'll send out a single paper, which will let us place out our number 1 token, and let's place it right here. That'll gain us 3 cash. And importantly, get us some influence out on this board here, because before too long, we're going to be counting up how much influence we have in these regions, and we want to be present in as many of them as we can. Even if we're not winning, we're at least still able to score some points just for being present. And back over to Yeti. He's sitting on a lot of coal. He's going to burn through that by doing a production action. And he's going to activate both of these factories, which will cost him 5 coal. Each one will produce a single good, but now he's got 3 different good types, and he's got 1 in the middle category there now. And coming back to us, let's also build ourselves another factory here. So we'll grab him. Of course, that will cost 6,000. And then let's grab this factory right here. This one will let us produce bento. But now we have made it even more attractive to increase or do the mining action, which will increase this track by an additional step when we do it. Plus we'll gain iron as a benefit as well. And with play passing back over to Yeti, his new ability to produce lenses, he would like to get this out into the field and establish some more influence. Lenses are a new category, so with a single one of them, he would be able to place out his level 3 influence. So he's going to grab this worker here. And for this good, he can place out this influence token. And for that, he's going to go right here, which will gain him 2 coal. And importantly, give him presence in yet 1 more region. And with that emptied out, we'll bring in this last little batch of workers here. And now as soon as another one of these areas empties out, that's going to trigger us doing a scoring here for influence in each of these regions. So we want to pay attention to that timing, which means we should probably produce some higher end goods ourselves. So with that in mind, let's grab this here and we'll do some production. We've got 6 coal, and that means we could fire up 2 of these different factories. Let's definitely activate this one, and I'm thinking this one as well, because that'll gain us 2 more goods on there. So 2 coal here, 3 coal there. And with 3 of these goods, we could place out our number 3 influence token. And of course, with a single one of those bentos, we could place out our number 3. But if we can get another bento, then we could be placing out our number 4. So it's kind of what I'm eyeing up there. But as play passes back over to Yeti, looks like he's going to beat us to the punch. He's going to grab this worker to do production. He's going to spend his 3 coal to produce a lens. And by doing that, he has emptied that queue or that worker space there. And the queue is empty to be able to refill it, which means that triggers the end of the round. And because we are at this line here, that's going to trigger scoring influence. So now we look to each region and add them up individually. Here, the overseas company has a total of 9 influence. Yeti has 1 influence, and of course, we have no influence. So the point values are listed here, and this middle, or this 8 right there is only in a 3-player game or higher. In a 2-player game, we ignore that. So first place goes to the overseas company. Second place goes to Yeti, which he'll get 6 points. And because we have no influence here, we don't participate, we'll get 0 points. Same thing for this one here. The overseas company has a clear majority. Yeti has 4 influence, so again, he will score 6 points. For this region here, the overseas company still has a majority. Yeti comes in second, and we finally have some influence, so we come in third, which means we'll finally get 2 points, and Yeti will still get his 6 points. And now to the last region. Obviously, overseas has it, but we get second place, so we'll get 6 points for that. So that's the influence scoring. Yeti got a nice jump on us for having some good presence out there. Obviously, in this first go-around, overseas company is taking the majorities on all of these areas. But as we move through the game, that'll shift, and as we get more pieces out there, overseas will have less influence, and we'll be jockeying for more position. But it's definitely something that we probably need to try to play catch-up with. And with that, this piece will advance to there. And now just to talk about this second round marker that's right here. When this marker reaches that marker, whatever player triggered that, they will pass this marker to the player on their left. And basically what that means is the rest of the game, each player only has 3 more turns. Because what will happen is once play comes back around to the player holding this marker, the round marker will advance. So instead of waiting for these things to empty out and this worker queue to be empty, every single time you go around the table, this thing's going to advance. So once we hit there, each player basically has 3 more turns. So that's what that's all about. But now that influence is done and we've advanced that track, end of the round is cleanup for this is just the same as it usually is. We will refill each of these up to 3. And then play proceeds like normal. And with play passing back to us, I'm just realizing that when we grabbed this factory, we did not pay the silk to make up for our R&D shortage. So we were at a level 2 and we built a level 4 factory. So we need to pay the silk to make up for that. 3 silk will boost our R&D by 2. So should have paid that. Now we're all caught up. But we do have 3 iron here. And this seems like a good time to grab this worker to send a ship out. And we're going to do that by paying those 3 iron. We'll send him out to right there. Which, of course, the expert worker will match the color that we already have in there, but now our department bonus of coal is just gotten a little better. Play comes back over to Yeti. He can take 1 more action, and for that, he's going to fulfill some contracts. So he'll grab this worker. And again, you can fulfill up to 3 contracts or get 3 advancements on your finance track. The first one will cost 1 good. The second one will cost 2 goods of a different type. So he's going to fulfill 2 different contracts. The first one will be for a single paper. The second one will be for 2 cotton. He'll fulfill this contract and this one. And that'll let him take both of those department bonuses. So for this one, he's going to advance his R&D by 2. And by covering up this space, that will unlock his level 3 influence token over here. You might have noticed there are 3 tokens waiting in the wings here, and you unlock them by advancing far enough on the R&D track. So now for that department bonus, he will gain 3 coal. And that will do it for Yeti. Coming back to us, we're going to consolidate. And I think for this favor token here, this might be a bad strategy, but let's give it a shot. We'll see what happens. What I'm thinking is, if we're already going to try to jump on a bunch of these contracts let us take department bonuses. The ships make those even better. So I feel like these work together well, and we only need 2 more ships out to get max benefit out of this one. So I think it's a good idea, although we really do need to be getting more influence out on the board, but we'll see where this takes us. So that's where that token goes. This department bonus, oh, you know what? We got to get rid of our residuals. Now this department bonus will give us 3 coal back. We'll get 2 silk. Four more coal. We're at 16 cash, but again, we have 3 different colored workers, so we'll bring back a total of 10. And then these will go back. Back over to Yeti, and he also must consolidate. So he's going to lock that favor token in there. And then he's going to lose his 3 coal. He will gain 3,000 there. That will gain him 2 iron, 3 coal. He also is sitting at 16 with 3 different colored workers, so he'll get 10 back. Oh, that 3,000 should have gone away. Now, coming back to us, let's take a look at our situation real quick. We are a little bit limited in which of these tokens we can place out, because that's dependent on the types of goods and the number of those goods that we can place out. And since we only have a couple of low-level factories, we are limited to this number 3 token right here. So what I'm thinking is maybe we upgrade these factories, because if we can produce more of these goods, that will help us get out some of our larger numbers. Now we'll still be limited. We won't be able to put out our highest numbers until we get better factories. But if we can at least upgrade these, I think that'll help both get large numbers out as well as complete some of these contracts in one swoop. So with that in mind, let's grab this worker here. We're going to do the upgrade action, and I think we're going to activate this twice. So it's going to clean out the money that we have, because we've got a total of 10,000. So it's going to take all of it, but we can upgrade both of these factories here. That will put out that one and that one. And of course, by clearing that out, that will increase our finance track. But now when we fire these up, we're going to make even more of the goods, which will help get out bigger numbers and complete some more contracts. Over to Yeti, And he's going to grab this worker. He's going to advance his R&D by 2. That will cost him 3,000. And jump him up twice on that track. Looking back over here, let's go ahead and run these factories. It's going to be a little bit wasteful because we only have enough room for one good here, but I think it's going to be worth it to fill everything back up and get us in a good position to get out some of these numbers. So let's grab that worker, and we're going to set off all 3 of our factories, which is going to cost a total of 3, 5, 7 coal, and that's exactly what we have. This will produce 2 and 2. And again, a little wasteful because we only have room for 1, but that's okay. And with that done, it is Yeti's turn. He's going to grab this worker and he's going to build a factory. That will cost him 6,000. He's currently at an R&D level of 4, so he's going to spend 3 silk to boost that up by 2 to take him all the way up to level 6. And he's going to grab this factory right here. And this bulbs factory will immediately allow him to place goods in 3 different factories. We'll place 1 there, 1 there, and I'll stick that one right there. All right, now that we have all of these goods, I very much would like to get influence out onto the board, but we're really well set up to complete a variety of contracts. And if we look at our scoring here, doing 3 contracts will jump us all the way up to 20 points. The next contract only adds 2 more points, and then that last one only takes us up by 4 points between these 2 positions. So just doing 3 contracts is huge, and we're sitting on everything we need to do 3 contracts. And I feel like we probably have enough time to do these contracts, refill, and then still get some influence out on the board before this ticks up all the way to scoring influence. So hopefully we're not jumping the gun on completing some of these contracts, but let's give it a shot. So with that, we'll grab this worker, and we are going to complete 3 different contracts. Each one will take 3 different types of goods, increasing in the cost. So our first good we will take from here, and we'll use that to complete this contract right here. And again, this requires specifically either lenses or bento. So since we're doing a bento good, we can complete that. And I think for this benefit, let's grab this department bonus. That'll give us some coal that we can use to eventually fire these factories back up. Then we'll grab this one here for our second contract. It takes 2 of a different type of good. And once again, I think we'll take some coal. And then for our third contract, 3 goods of a different type. And I think for this, we'll grab this one right here. And we'll bump this track up twice. That gets us 1 notch away from being able to unlock this number 3 influence token. It's now in a scoring position, and of course gets us closer to some of the higher R&D levels for better factories. Heading back over to Yeti's turn, and he is going to place out into the local markets, and he's going to deliver 2 lenses, and of course 2 lenses will let him put out his number 4 influence. And he's going to place that right here. By doing so, first off, he will get 2 coal. But now he's got a clear majority in this area here. He has 7, offshore has a total of 5, and we have 2. So he's got the lead here in this region. Now he could send out this bulb to right here if he wanted to, which would really cement his lead, but he's happy with his current lead here, and he's likely holding on to that bulb for a different location. And back over to us, we've got a couple of these goods here, and I say we send them out. And for 2 of those, we can put out our number 4 influence token. So we'll send those right over to here. That will actually tie us for influence with Yeti in this region, so we at least help even the odds and we get some influence in a fresh region for ourselves. That'll get us 2 iron. And I'm just now realizing that when we completed these contracts, we did not activate that factory benefit, which would have let us climb up the finance track for each one of these contracts. So we should have had 3 more bumps there. And with play passing back over to Yeti, he's not too wild about the fact that we took control of that area. So he's going to put out a train, and he's going to pay for that with iron. So his 3 iron will go away, and he will place this train right out here, which will gain him that 1 iron back. And importantly, he now has regained control. So he's got a total of 6 influence here compared to our 4. So he's back on top here. Back over to us. And I think looking at what we have out here, let's go ahead and grab this guy here. We're going to complete another contract. And for this one, we'll turn in a single good. We'll complete this one right here, which will let us take 2 iron. Then, of course, we will increase that another time. And by emptying that, these 3 will come out. Back over to Yeti, and he's sitting on 5 coal, and he doesn't want to lose that when he passes. So he's going to grab this and produce on 2 of his factories. He's going to go with these 2 right here. 3 and 2 for 5 coal. And of course, that emptied out, so these will come out. We actually have the same problem. We can only take 1 more action before we need to consolidate. And if we don't run production, we're going to lose all this coal. So we might as well. So I think we will grab this guy right here. We're going to activate 2 of our factories, because we only have enough coal for 2. But by grabbing this guy, when we consolidate, we will gain 4 coal and 3 coal. That'll be enough to run all of these factories again. So I think for right now, we'll set this off for 3 coal, and that off for 1 of these off for 2 coal. Now we'll put those right there. Back over to Yeti. He's going to serve the local markets again, and he's going to put out a bulb. And a single bulb will let him put out his level 5 influence. And he's going to place it right over here. It's going to let him take 2 silk, and he is now tied for majority. He has 6. And offshore also has 6. So he'll gain 2 silk and a tie for the majority. And with that emptied out, and this no longer able to replenish, that will advance the round marker again, and then we will refill the spaces. We are out of room, so time to consolidate. And since those tokens are gone, we will grab this level favor token. Oh, let's slot this in right there. We only need one more factory to see one of the biggest jumps, so seems like a good spot to put that. And now, of course, we get rid of our coal and our money, but now we'll gain 3 coal for him. This will gain us 2 bumps, and we'll take both of them on the R&D track, which will, of course, unlock our other level 3 token. And we're now at level 4 for R&D, so we can hit those level 6 factories by spending some coal if we need, or some silk if we need to. Then we'll gain 4 more coal. And we're at 21. We have 3 different colored workers, so we'll take 9 off of that. So we'll gain a total of 12,000 yen. Yeti also must consolidate. He is out of room. So I'll take this first favor token and slot it in right there. And then this will gain him 3, or you know what, this goes away first. This will gain him 3,000. This will let him take 2 bumps, split up between these tracks. He's going to take both of them on the R&D track, which will unlock his level 5 token, and he only needs 1 silk to be able to afford his level 6 factories. Then he'll gain 3 coal. He's at 16, but he has 4 different colored workers, so that's going to cost him a total of 12, so he'll end up with 4,000 yen for income. Back over to us, and I think the first thing we want to do is build another factory. And the reason why is, yeah, the factory will help us, but I really like the benefits of this one right here. It's going to let us build 2 ships. And so let's go ahead and grab this worker here, and it's going to cost us 6. We'll pay for that. And then we'll grab this. It's a level 6 factory. And of course, we're at level 4. So we're going to need to pay 3 silk to make up for those 2 R&D levels. But now we get to put out 1 ship for free, and we can put out a 2nd ship if we pay 2 iron, which we are definitely going to do, because that will get us both ships out that we need for accomplishing this highest level goal right there. Now, the only downfall is that it is going to scatter up our workers a little bit. So I think for our first one, we'll place it right there, which will give us a gray worker. And of course, we already have gray workers in our queue, so no problem there. That'll make our actually make him pay out a little bit better when we consolidate. And then I'm currently seeing a lot of red workers out there, so we might as well come here. We'll slot that in there and make our silk pay out a little bit better for that one there. But again, the big thing is that we have now hit the 20-point threshold for that. So that's pretty good. And over to Yeti. He will grab this worker, and he's going to complete some contracts. So his first one, he's going to complete this. And since it's a lens, he will use this one here. He will take that department bonus there. And then his second contract will take 2 goods from here, and he will complete that one to get 2 iron. Coming back to us, I like to upgrade this guy here so that when we run production, we'll get even more out of him. So let's grab this red worker. We're going to just do one upgrade for 5,000. Place that there. And when we clear that, that lets us activate our silk production, which will give us 3. And it's always worth remembering that silk can stand in as 1,000 yen, so it's kind of like getting 3,000 bucks as well. Passing back to Yeti, he's going to put out a train, and he'll pay for it with the 3 iron. So take this, and he's going to place it into this region here, which will gain him 2,000 yen. And again, a train out here by itself doesn't give him any influence. Definitely gives him the money, but this also signals to us he's likely got his sights set on getting something out there in the near future. And now coming back to us, I think we want to produce in our factories. So we'll place this guy here, and then that's going to cost us 4, and we'll run this one as well for 3. So that is 7, which is exactly what we have here. And because they are both upgraded, they'll both give us 2 goods. Moving back over to Yeti, he's going to do the upgrade action. He's going to activate it twice, each costing 5. And he has 6, 7, 8, 9, and then he will spend the 1 silk for the remaining 1,000 yen. And for both of those upgrades, he'll do one right there, and his second one will go right there. And by removing that one, he will increase his finance track by 1. Back over to us, and I have a mind to go ahead and pass. We've hit the threshold where we're going to get our highest favor token, but we will lose this 1,000, and I'm thinking maybe we go ahead and grab this worker here and spend that 1,000 so that we can advance on that track. I don't know, maybe that's a little slow, but we don't pay anything extra for having, it's the same color worker we already have, and it at least moves us up into a scoring zone here. So if we get a token down in there, then we can score that. So I don't know. We'll go with it. And for Yeti's turn, he's going to grab this worker, and he's going to produce. He'll produce on 2 of his factories. This one's going to cost 4. That one will cost 2. He has a total of 6. And each of these factories will give him 2 goods. And with that, now we must consolidate. We don't need to get rid of anything. We were able to be efficient on that aspect of things. For this one here, I think we're going to take both bumps on this track to unlock our level 5 token. And hopefully we can start getting some of these guys out. This will give us 3 iron. We'll gain 4 coal. And we're at 21. And again, we have 3 colors of workers. So we'll take 9 off of that. That will give us 12 for our income. Play passing back to Yeti, and he's sitting on some goods, so he's ready to put those out. So he'll grab this worker right there. And then he's going to put out a level 2 bulb. And of course, level 2 for bulbs will let him put out his number 6 influence token. He's going to place it right there, which will get him 3,000 yen. And then he's going to put out level 3 cotton. And again, level 3 cotton is going to put out his number 3 influence token. This really is the first time we've seen it where we're putting 2 influence tokens out in a single action. And again, they need to be all in the same region. So he has to put it out in this region. And this is an interesting move. He's going to put, and now this is a cotton good. He's going to place it right here. Now, in a 2-player game, you can only ever have a max of 2 tokens around a particular tile here. So by placing it there, he's going to kick out the next lowest token, which is mine. And by doing that, he has removed our influence from this region. He still has the majority, even over the offshore, as the offshore has 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and he's got a total of 9, 10, 11. He still has a majority, and he has booted us out, so we don't have any influence there anymore. But our number 1 influence token comes back now, so we can still put that back out, and that's one thing that can be a struggle at times where you have goods that you don't have an influence token you can place out for. So in some ways that helps us, but in most ways that hurts us because we'd rather have the influence there to have some kind of presence. But as it is, he's got a majority over here, and that will also earn him 3,000 more yen. That dirty dog. Coming back to us, I'm just realizing we never put out our favorite token. We were all the way up here, so we qualified for this one here, and we meant to put this one out right there. All we need to do is get one more upgrade out, and we'll jump from 8 to 16 points. So that's where we'll place that. Sorry about that, but I think we're all caught up now. And not real happy about getting kicked out over there. So I think let's get back over there. We're going to serve the local markets. And we're going to send our highest level bento that we can. So it's going to take 3 of these goods. And a level 3 goods bento will let us put out our number 5 influence token. And we're going to send that right over there. Of course, that will gain us 3,000 yen. Now, he obviously still has the majority here, but the offshore has 5, 6, 7. And if we can get a train out over there, we can at least tie the offshore for second place. So at least we have presence back here now. And actually, now that I think about it, we could send a single one of these paper goods. Oh, wait, you know what? Never mind. I was thinking we could put this level 1 token out here for our single paper good. The problem with that is that it would have to go here, and it would need to be higher in value than one of these tokens, and it doesn't beat either of those. So we have to respect that 2 token limit around this tile. We can't place it out there. So if we want to beat out the offshore company, we're either going to need some help with trains or putting out some higher value tokens. So it's all we can do for right now. Play passes back over to Yeti, and he does not want to lose out on the 6,000 here. He doesn't want to get rid of those. So he's going to take an action to build a factory, which will cost that 6,000. He's at an R&D level of 5, so he'll spend 1 silk to boost it up to level 6. And he will do that to take this factory right here, which will then let him instantly do 2 upgrades. And without any iron on hand, the decision is easy. He will upgrade both of these, which cost 0 iron. And now he has hit the highest scoring threshold for that token right there. Now that this is emptied out, these will come over. Coming back to us, and let's get some of this influence out on the board. So we'll grab this, and we're going to place a level 2 clock, which will give us our 6 influence token out. So we'll grab that. Let's place it right there. And then that will tie us with Yeti. But because we can put out to 3 of these tokens, let's go ahead and spend 1 of these goods. And we can put out this level 1 influence token. And now I would love to kick him out, but it needs to be a higher value if you're going to kick somebody out. So instead, we can place this right there. And now we have a majority over Yeti, at least for now. Now we could put a third one out, and we do have this bento here, which would let us put our level 3 out. And we could stick that there and push him out. But I'm thinking we already have the majority here. Let's try to hang on to it, and we can save that bento for another region, maybe coming over here. If we can boost it up to a level 4, we can boot him out. So that's what I'm thinking. We'll see how this plays out. But with that, we move to Yeti, and he must do a consolidation. He has nothing he needs to get rid of. He will take this favor token. I'll slot that in right there. This will gain him 2 points. For this, he will take 1 advancement here, which will put him in the scoring zone. And then his other advancement, he'll take right there, which will gain him 2 iron. Then he'll gain 3 coal. He's sitting at 17. But he does have 1, 2, 3, 4 different colored workers, so his wages are 12, which will give him 5,000 for his income. And with that done, I'm realizing that we should have refilled this at the end of our turn. So there we go. And now, coming back to us, we've got a little stockpile of money here. And I'm kind of thinking we use that to get out some trains and help boost up our influence across the board. So let's grab this worker, and we're going to activate this. And we can either do it with 3 iron or 5 money and 1 iron. So I think we'll spend 3 iron for the first train. By removing that, we will increase that 1. And I think this first one will place out over here. That'll get us 2 money. And then we'll go from tying for second place to booting the offshore company to third, and we now have a clear second place. And for the next train, we will do 5,000 and an iron. We'll place that right there. That'll get us a silk, and it will help cement our lead in that area. And then for the last one, we'll do 5 and the iron. And of course, that again will boost us up there. We've now hit the highest score threshold for that, so that's good. Then for this last train, this one's a little bit tricky because if we place it into here, that would give us a total of 4 plus 2, so we'll have 6. Yeti is sitting on 6, and the offshore company has 6. So it would be a 3-way tie here. If we place it over to here, then we would have 4, Yeti would have 7, and the offshore would have 5. So even placing it out here, we still would be in third place. So no matter where we place this, we're going to need to put out more influence to make a difference to take some kind of majority. So I think what makes sense is to place this over here. And that way, if we can't get anything else out before we trigger the next majority scoring, we at least have a three-way tie. Every player will get 10 points. Compared to if we place it over here, it will not change majorities at all. So feels like the better short-term play to do. We'll see how that plays out in the long run. As it comes back over to Yeti, he is actually, he's going to put out his own train. And he's going to do that with 5,000 and the iron. He's going to pull that out. He's going to place it out right there, which will gain him a silk. Coming back to us, we have a couple of goods, but we actually can't really place any of these out. We don't have a level 1 token, and we have a level 3, which our bento would give us, but all the locations on the board that could take bento, there's either no point in placing it there because we already have a clear majority, or we actually can't bump out anybody because, like over here, he's got a level 3 and we would place a level 3, so it doesn't replace him. So that being said, I think what we'll do is grab this worker and we will build a factory. And the reason why that'll cost us our 6,000 is because we're going to grab this one right here. We're at a level 4. We don't need to pay anything extra. But we're mainly doing it because it will give us 4 coal, which will let us fire up more of our factories. And of course, slotting in another factory gives us more victory points. But with that done, this is empty, that is empty. That now triggers our next majority scoring. So when we look at this first region, we have 6, 7, 8, 9 to Yeti's 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have the majority here. Yeti has second place. And for this scoring, majority, first place will gain 18 points. Second place will gain 10. Third would get 3 points. So for this, we will get 18, Yeti will get 10. So we will gain up to 34. Yeti will gain up to 36. Then for this region, we have 4, 5, 6. Yeti has 2, 4, 6. And the offshore has 2, 4, 5, 6. There's a three-way tie. So in a tie, you add up the sum of all of the tied players' places. So in this case, we'll do first, second, and third added together. So that's 18, 10, and 3. So that is 31 points. And then you'll divide it evenly among all the players, rounded down. So that will give each player 10 points for three-way tie. So Yeti will go from 36 up to 46. We will go from 34 to 44. Then in this area here, Yeti has 7. Offshore has 3, 4, 5, and we have 2. So Yeti will gain 18 points. So he will jump up to 64. And then second place goes to offshore for 10. So we will just gain the third place, which will be 3 points. And then for the fourth region here, we have 5, 6, 7. Yeti has 6, 9, 10, 11. And offshore has 5, 6, 7. So Yeti will gain the full 18 points, which will jump him up to 82. And then we tie the offshore for second place there. So that will be 13 points divided in 2, rounded down. So we'll gain 6 points, which should take us up to 53. that will do it for majority scoring. So then this will advance one more space. And again, the next time this advances, this will go to the player that triggered it. And then from that point, each player only gets 3 more turns. But for now, we will refill the worker queue. Yeti's majorities have gotten a pretty good lead here, but he's starting to starve for resources. He's only got one worker. He's only one worker deep into this turn here, and he has next to no resources to do much. So technically, he could actually consolidate if he wanted to. All you need is a single worker to consolidate, and he doesn't have any money to lose, but he does have a little coal to lose. So it'll cost him a little more money, but rather than lose this coal, he will go ahead and run production. He'll spend the 3 coal to fire up this factory here, and that will neatly use up his resources. And coming back over to us, I like what Yeti did. We're sitting on our little stockpile of coal. Let's fire up our factories. So we'll grab this, and we're going to activate 3 of these. And we've got 8 coal here. So let's fire up this factory, which is 4 coal, that one for 2, and that one for 2. So that will neatly use up our supply. And now we're sitting on some good inventory. And with it coming back to Yeti, he actually must consolidate. He doesn't have resources to do any other actions. And he can't even service the local markets because with 2 lenses, he could put out either a 3 or a 4, and he doesn't have one of those influence tokens. So with his 2 workers here, he must consolidate. So for that, obviously he's got nothing to get rid of, so no problem there. He will not get to put out one of these because he didn't have enough workers to reach up into that area, so no favor tokens. In addition, he will not gain a department bonus for the top worker because you need at least 4 workers to gain department bonuses. That's denoted by these 2 little gray spaces right there. So no department bonus there, but this one will give him 3 coal. And with those 3 coal there, that'll give him a total of 6. He's at 17 there, and he only has 2 colors of workers, so that will bring him 11 total for his income. So, still a little early to consolidate, but now he's sitting on some resources and be able to do some things with that. And I think we'll go ahead and consolidate as well. So we will lose this 1,000, but then we will gain that department bonus, and we'll take both of those on the R&D track so that we hit that scoring. Oh, you know what? This favor token will come off, and we will notch it in right there. We got that department bonus. This one will gain us 3 iron. That will get us 4 coal. And we're sitting all the way up at 23 here. We have 3 different colored workers, so that will bring us in 14 for our income. And for Yeti's turn, he's going to grab this worker, and he's going to send a train out. He will pay 1 iron and 5,000 yen. And he will send this train right here for a much needed coal. All right, we have, again, a fair bit of goods here. But I think let's produce one more time because I really want to put out this number 7 token here. But in order to get that out, we're going to need one more watch here. So let's do one more production. We'll grab that worker, and we'll spend the 4 coal that we have. Now we'll be able to place that out in a future turn. That emptied, those will slide over. For Yeti's turn, he is also going to produce. He has a total of 7 coal, so he will produce on both of these factories here. And now that we're sitting on all these watches, let's get out our level 7 token. So we'll grab this one, and we'll spend all 3 of these. We're going to place into this region here, and we will place this right there. And now, again, respecting that 2 token limit here, that's actually going to kick out our own influence marker here because it is the lowest one. So that's going to come back to us. But because we can do 3 activations here, we're going to spend 2 cotton to be able to put this 2 right back out in the same area. So now we've just jumped up our influence to 9. We're currently tying Yeti for this, so if we can get a train or another larger token out, we can take control. But for each of those placements, we'll get 2 coal, so we'll get a total of 4 coal for these placements. Yeti, likewise, is going to deliver some lenses here. And he's going to put out 3 lenses, which will let him put his number 5 token out. And he's going to place that right there, which will get him 2 iron. And now I'm thinking I'd like to get out some trains here to help solidify or creep up on some of our influence in the areas out there. So let's grab this, and we're going to put 2 trains out, and we're going to pay for that with cash and iron. So the first one will be 1 iron, 5,000 yen. And we'll definitely stick the first one here. That'll gain us 1 coal, and that'll help us solidify our lead there. And then the second one will also pay cash and iron. Let's go ahead and put it right here. There are no more placements that would give us a bonus, so that's not really a factor anymore. And in this region, we only have the lead by 1, so that'll boost that up just a little bit. So hopefully that will help us. And of course, when we removed that train, we got to activate that department bonus right there. We'll go ahead and take those both on the R&D track, which will unlock that last 7 token there. Maybe we can find a way to get that out. Yeti's turn. He's actually going to send out a ship. So that will cost him 1 iron and 5,000 yen. Then he's going to send this one out. That will increase his finance track. He's going to send it right there. All right, I think what we want to do is upgrade this factory here. So we're going to grab this worker. This is going to do a few things for us. When we consolidate, we'll get some coal. We'll use that coal to run our factories here in a minute. But that upgrade is going to cost us 5,000. We've got 3, 4, and we'll make up for the shortage with the silk. And then we're going to pay the iron so that we can upgrade this factory here. And now when we run it, it's going to give us 3 goods. And importantly, we just opened up that score threshold there. But now hopefully we have some ways to get multiples of these tokens out, because a single bento would give us our level 3, a single watch would give us our level 5, and 3 watches would give us our level 7. So if we can run production here, we should be able to get a few of these out. That's what I'm thinking anyway. Over to Yeti, and he's going to consolidate. So he'll get rid of his 1,000 yen, but then he will get to place out this favor token. I'll place that right there. He'll gain this department bonus of 5,000. This will get him 3 coal, plus another 3. He's got 2 colors of workers, so 18 minus 6 is going to give him 12 for his money. Then let's run our production. It's not the most efficient production. It's going to cost us a little money there, but that's okay. And we only have enough coal on hand to fire up this factory here. But it will give us 3 goods. And so again, between the 1, the 3, and the 1, that's enough to put out 3 of these tokens here. So seems pretty good. Yeti is going to produce with 4 coal. He'll produce there. And with his remaining 2 coal, I'll put those right there. All right, we've got all these goods. I think it's time to get some of them out. So we're going to grab that guy there. And we're going to put a single watch out. Will let us get our number 5. And we're going to place that right there, which will give us 2 iron. And then we're also going to deliver 3 paper, which is going to let us put out number 3. We're going to place that right here, which is going to push out Yeti's number 2. And we'll get 2 more iron. Now, by grabbing that, emptying that out, and the fact that this is emptied out, the round comes to an end, and this will advance. And the active player will give this marker to the player on their left. In this case, it will go to Yeti. And from now on, once all players, including the player holding this marker, have taken 1 turn, the round comes to an end, and this will advance. And this is important to note in these final few turns. We will refill all the workers right now, but after that, they will not refill. Now for Yeti's turn, he will place out 3 bulbs so that he can get his number 7 token. And he's going to place that right there. And of course, that's going to bump out our token there, and that will gain him 2 iron. We are also going to place, oh, you know what? We can't, because we need to consolidate. Ooh, not good. Bad timing, but there's nothing we can do about that. So first thing we'll do is take this token and slot that in there. And then we're only going to gain 1 department bonus of 5,000. Oh, but by the way, our coal goes away. So department bonus. Then we will gain 4 coal. And again, we have 9 in wages off of our 23, so we'll get 14 for income. And that, unfortunately, is one of our 3 final turns. Now that we've each had a turn, this will advance. For Yeti's next action, he's going to build some ships. And his first one will be this. Place that right there. That'll boost up that department bonus. Then he'll send a second one out, which will open up that scoring threshold. Place it right there. He has enough resources, he could send that final ship out, but he would not gain any benefit of it, and it will mean his final turn would have to be a consolidation. So he's going to hold off. All right, now we're going to send out some fine timepieces here. We're going to send that over to here, which will give us the lead and 3,000 yen, which we're not hurting for cash, that's for sure. And that turn done will advance us into our final turns. For Yeti's final turn, he's going to complete some contracts. So his first one, he will use this bulb. This will let him take any department bonus. He's going to take the 4 points. His second contract, take 2 different goods. And he will claim that one, which is going to be 4 more points. And actually, for our final turn, we're going to do the same thing. We will spend this single good to complete this contract, which will get us a couple of points for filling that slot up. And then, of course, we'll take that department bonus, which will give us 2 points. And it doesn't matter, but it does let us boost up that track there. And with that, our turn is complete. And the round is complete, which will enter us into the third and final influence scoring for all of the regions. Once we finish this, we'll actually do one final consolidation on both of our boards, and then we'll go into final scoring. So for our influence, over here we have 6, 7, 8, 10, and Yeti has 5, 6, 8. So we have a majority here. So for this round, first place will get 26 points, second will get 14, and third would get 4. We're not going to have to worry about the third place anymore because that we've definitely overshadowed the overseas company. So for our first place in the first region, we'll gain 26 points. Yeti will gain 14. So we will jump to 81. Yeti will head to 104, and you flip the token to show the 100 side. For the next region, we have 9, 11. Yeti has 12, 14, 16. So Yeti will get 26 points for this, and we'll get 14. For the third region, we have 9, 10, 11. Yeti has 7, 8, 9. So 26 for us, 14 for Yeti. And then the final region, we have 12, 14. Yeti has 9, 10, 11. So 26 for us, 14 for Yeti. And with that influence done, this now moves to end of game, where we will each do one final consolidation. So, unfortunately, we're losing all of this cash. Maybe there's something we could have done with it, but felt like we made the best use of what was in front of us at the time. And of course, we lose all of our coal. And now, as normal, we'll gain this department bonus. It's too bad we don't reach high up enough to grab that. We could have slotted it in there, but we gain that. We will gain 4 coal. We're at 24, minus 6, so we'll get 18 for our finances. For Yeti's consolidation, these will all go away. And then he'll gain 4 points. This will let him advance. Oh, you know what? He should have slotted this in first. And just to make it feel like it's worth it, he'll put it in there. And then for his department bonus, he'll advance that track right there. Then he'll gain 4 coal. He's at 18. He has 3 different colored workers, so his wages are 9, giving him 9 for his income. And with the final consolidation done, the next thing that we add up are the personal objectives we've slotted in and the development of our Zaibatsus. So again, the way that this works is for this section right here, we're looking to these 2 scoring thresholds. And if we have developed all the way up to the higher number, that's the one that we score. And depending on the level of the favor token, that will dictate if we get the low, medium, or high numbers. So as we look down Yeti's board here, this is the middle token, which will score him 16 points. His large one here will get 20 points. This is another 16-point score. Another 16 points. This one is the lower one with the smallest threshold, so he'll get 5 points for that one. Now these ones here, we look to the numbers that are in between our factories and the contracts that we have completed. And he's got his 2 largest ones slotted in there, so he will score the large number here. He'll get 22 points for developing that many or building that many factories. And he'll gain 24 points for completing all of his contracts. So grand total for Yeti's Zaibatsu for all of these is 119 points. His 119 added to his 162 will give him a grand total of 281. So now as we look to our player board, this will give us 20. We'll get 16. This will give us 10. 16. Nothing there. And 20 for that one. We'll get 18 points for that build. And this will give us 24. Our grand total here is 124. 124 added on to our 147 gives us a grand total of 271. And the last thing that we do is we add up our leftover goods and money and products. For the money, every 5,000 is worth 1 point. And so we'll get 3 points there. And then everything else that we have left over, including if we had goods over here, it's every 3 of those will get you a point. We have a total of 15, so we'll get 5 points. Yeti has 5,000 there for 1 point, and then 7 leftover resources there for another 2 points, so he'll gain 3 points total. And wow, that is the final score, 279 to Yeti's 284. that is a close game. In a game of almost 300 points, this is a razor-thin lead there. I was hoping that what we were developing out here might make up for the lost momentum that we had earlier in the game when Yeti had a lot of majorities and we didn't. But as it turns out, that was apparently enough of a win. It only took a few points, but he pulled it out. But there you have it, a full 2-player playthrough of Nippon Zaibatsu. Hopefully this gave you a good sense of how it plays. It's definitely a tug of war out on the map here, but the way that you go about that can vary greatly, and there's a lot of variability that comes into the setup. All of these tiles that are out here, these are randomly placed and then even randomly distributed, so what goods you can deliver and where they go, mixed with the workers that come out. There's a lot of tactical decision making that you do, but at the same time, it's very strategic, and it's a really interesting blend of having an overall strategy, but then shifting when certain opportunities present themselves. So hopefully this playthrough gave you a good sense of that. It's a very crunchy game. I'm sure that there are things that I have tripped up throughout, but regardless of that, hopefully this at least helps you know what it feels like to play this game and sort of the decision spaces that you find yourself in. But thank you for watching, thank you for joining, and until the next time, we'll see you on our next expedition.